Hey, what's up, everybody? It's yours truly, Dr. Eddie. As you know, this is a place where you get edified. I hope you're doing great. Listen, are you part of my social circle? Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and we don't stop at Eddie Connor Jr. And of course, my amazing academy, my amazing academy community where we focus on faith, identity, relationships, speaker training, much more. It's a place to develop your purpose, connectivity, authenticity, transparency, and of course, a community of leaders who collaborate rather than compete. I want to see you there. DrEddieAcademy.com. Check this out. There's been a lot going on. Interviews here and there, being on the circuit, speaking, and also sharing about a new venture, new book that I have out. Dear Queen, Volume 2. How to Wear Your Crown, Walk in Authority and Authenticity. I'm so grateful to you. This book, Dear Queen, Volume 2, is #1 on Amazon thanks to you. Came out on International Women's Day on March the 8th, and it's just been empowering just people locally and globally. Not just our queens, but also our kings too. And I believe every one of us has a crown over our head that one day will grow tall enough to wear. And that's not just physically, it's mentally, socially, spiritually, intellectually, relationally, financially, down those alleys of life, so to speak. And really the genesis of my journey, Dear Queen Volume 2 is my 13th book. I never wanted to be a writer. I never had an intention to be a writer at all. I wrote my first book literally with a dollar and a dream to my name in a dorm room when I was an undergrad student at Eastern Michigan University. Begrudgingly, I wrote my book. My mom convinced me. She said, hey, you got a story to tell. And I decided to face the fear of writing my story and sharing what was so embarrassing and so painful to me of overcoming stage 4 cancer. As I was writing, I was healing. I was dealing with the pain of my father not being there and the bitterness that I had. And writing became therapeutic for me. And I said, I'm only going to write one book in my life. But after you write your first one, everybody asks for the second one. So I fell in love with the writing process, and here I'm at number 13. I encourage you to check out my catalog. Is on Amazon. It's at DrEddieAcademy.com/Dear Queen, where you can get not only Dear Queen Volume 2, you can get the original. And with Dear Queen, how I even started the series was, I used to write love letters to girls in school. And I would do it anonymously because I was a shy guy. And I'd love to just see a girl open up her locker and see my letter in there, my note in there. And the word kind of got around that I was writing these love letters. And some of the guys were like, yo, I want you to write a love letter from my little lady of interest, my little shawty. But you got to keep your name off it, though. Break you off a little money, or I'll give you some lunch money, whatever the case may be. Get you a little milk chocolate and pizza on Friday. Fridays was pizza days. So years later, I just said, hey, you know what? That's an interesting idea. If I could write letters of love to girls, why can't I write a book of love to women? Of course, to love yourself, to know your worth. And that's what Dear Queen was all about. The first iteration of Dear Queen, Jewels of Wisdom to love yourself and to know your worth. The preeminent queen in my life, that being my mother, empowered me through my difficult time and trial and test, and became a testimony of overcoming cancer, finding the can in cancer, believing that God could heal me. And also self-determination. That's one of the reasons I wrote the book, outside of that little journey and in high school and thinking about oftentimes women in America, particularly black women, as Malcolm X said, the most neglected, unprotected, disrespected woman on the planet is the black woman. And oftentimes when we as men stand on the sidelines, our sisters stand on the front lines. So I wanted to write a book that really uplifts the value and the beauty and the tenacity and even the integrity of women locally and globally. I never thought I'd write another volume for Dear Queen. I only felt like it was just one book, but as people were purchasing even more, and as I was thinking about it, I felt like it was more of a continuation of a conversation rather than a finalization. And so I really wanted to write this book, and I thought it was a perfect time to be able to release it in all with what is going on in our world today, in the midst of the social media frenzy of negativity and the vitriolic epithet, so to speak, and misogyny that is spewed and skewed towards women. I wanted to write a manual and a tool and a book that I felt would be a source of value. I define queen as quintessentially unique, empowering everyone naturally. Real queens don't compete, they collaborate. They're not just focused on the man, they're focused on their purpose and their plan. They understand that their royalty demands loyalty. They wear their crown and they build their queendom in the kingdom of God. They're too unique to compete. They're too rare to compare. And I think one of the main things, especially that you'll find in the book, Dear Queen Volume 2, where you can get not only just Dear Queen Volume 2, but also Dear Queen. In order to get 2, you need to understand 1, but you can't understand 1 without 2, and you can't understand 2 without 1. You need both. Jay-Z said, what's better than 1 billionaire? 2. What's better than 1 Dear Queen? 2. And I think you'll know that too when you pick it up and read it. And you'll see why it went #1 on Amazon. Ebook, audiobook, hard copy, Amazon, Audible, iTunes, Barnes & Noble, DrEddieAcademy.com/Dear Queen to get your copy. But I feel as if, 2 specific factors in the book focus on a woman questioning and even coming to the realization of what's in her field. What is her field? What is her focus? I think 2 things you need to know: your field and your focus. And that's all through the lens of faith. We always talk about the story of Ruth and Boaz, and we come from a place to where, so many people are going to say, yeah, I'm declaring and decreeing, I'm going to get my Boaz. But really, Boaz is dead, 1. Boaz is another woman's husband. Also, Boaz died the day after he married Ruth. You don't want a Boaz. You want who God has for you. And when you think about, Boaz finding Ruth, he found her in the field, right? She was about her purpose. She was about her labor. And in many cases, your labor brings favor. Your labor brings favor. Your labor leads to your reward. And to really ask the question, because so many people are wondering when they're going to find their purpose partner, when they're going to get married, this, that, and the other. But I don't believe you can find your purpose partner if you have not first partnered with your purpose. What is your purpose? Have you said I do to you? Also, what is your field? I don't know if your field is nursing. I don't know if your field is in law. I don't know if your field is in ministry. I don't know if your field is in business or as an author, as a nonprofit organization. I don't know what specifically your field is in. But whatever your field is in, you got to focus on it. You got to focus on the plan. You got to focus on the preparation, the provision that comes from the result of the vision. And as you're working your field, whatever that field is, the right person is going to meet you in that field, right? You might not even be focused on them because you're so focused on the work that you're doing, but they're focused on you and how you're doing what you do in a unique, uncanny, and incredible way. Because nobody can beat you being you. You don't have to compete. You don't have to compare. You're a queen that's rare. When a man finds a queen in you, the queen that you are, he gonna say, whoa, man. And he gonna say, amen. Because he found a queen who found her purpose. And I always say, love is the thread, purpose is the glue. You know, people always want to fall in love, but fall sounds like something that is a trap. You don't want to fall into anything that you can't stand up in. I want to stand in love. I want to stand on a principle. I want to stand on a set of values with somebody who I can be in purpose with. And that ought to be the rudiment, the place to where you live your life. That's what a queen is all about. She's someone who operates in her field with focus, and she does it through faith. And as a result, her labor leads to greater favor. Listen, I can talk more and more about the book, but no need of me talking about it if you can read it. and hear me. Maybe you're not a reader. Maybe you're a listener. Listening is the new reading, right? You can read it with your ears as I'm sharing with you in the audiobook. Yes, audiobook for Dear Queen, audiobook for Dear Queen Volume 2. I want you to get it. It's going to speak to your heart. It's going to speak to your soul, and it's going to empower you to wear your crown. And what I love, especially about Dear Queen Volume 2, is not only solely for our sisters, it's also for our brothers too. What's a queen without a king? And what's a king without a queen? We need each other. We're better together. If we're going to be in the winner's circle, if we're going to not just survive, but thrive, it's going to take each of us to empower us and move to the next level. Why don't you go ahead and get your copy of my new book, Dear Queen Volume 2, Amazon, Audible, iTunes, Barnes & Noble. You can get a signed copy as well of both books, Dear Queen and Dear Queen Volume 2, DrEddieAcademy.com/Dear Queen. And while you're doing that, join my social circle, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. We don't stop at Eddie Connor Jr. And check out the Academy. Faith, identity, relationship, speaker training, building your purpose, focusing on your focus, flourishing in your field, doing it by faith to reap the favor and the reward of your labor. Can't wait to see you there at DrEddieAcademy.com. Peace and love. Talk to you soon. Stay encouraged. Stay edified. Peace and love.